Ahead on early birds, Desmond distributed, Bijan broke free. It wasn't perfect, but the Falcons have lots to like in a preseason tie. We'll break it all down. Plus, D. Alford is under the radar no more, and we go deep on Troy Anderson's special teams play. That and more on Early Birds.
Grab a cup of your favorite Joe and let's talk Falcons football on Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Well, good morning and welcome into Early Birds alongside D.J. Shockley. I'm Justin Felder as the Falcons stay undefeated.
Yeah, I like that.
Through 2/3 of the preseason.
Tie, but it's not an L, right?
We've learned from soccer, you're still undefeated if it's a tie. I'm just going by the rule book right here. Let's get things started with the opening drive. It was 13-13 last night between the Falcons and the Bengals. We got to see starting quarterback Desmond Ridder for one drive, but as me and you were talking about, it was a pretty productive drive, a long one, 7 for 9 passing, 80 yards, and a pick, which may or may not have been his fault. It was tipped, could have been a penalty, but Shock, what do you think?
I thought he did good, and they had to overcome a lot on that drive. You're talking about 2 penalties, they got put behind the chains, but I thought he was effective. I thought he was efficient. He took care of the ball, and he was decisive with the ball as well. But also, he got it to every playmaker, I think, on that one drive. This big catch here by Drake. Kyle caught the ball. Bijan. I mean, everybody was in part of this offense on the first drive, and you love to see that.
And everybody had a highlight reel catch, right?
Yep.
Drake London, Bijan one hand, Kyle Pitts one hand. We got a chance to hear from the QB with Dave Archer after the game.
Great to get out there, obviously live reps. One thing is going against your defense, another thing is going against another team. But as far as getting in and out the huddle is smooth.
Yeah.
Got to work on some things, obviously false starts, some cadence stuff. Everything can be better, everything can work on.
You don't have anything to say about this, but thoughts about playing next week? Is that something you'd like to be in there for? You like to play some more games before you get into the regular season?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. For me, it's all about playing football. So any opportunity I get to go out there and play, I'm going to go play.
Matters to me. I want to see him. Anyway, right, as we continue the opening drive, right up there with seeing Desmond Ridder, a lot of Falcons fans excited to see this guy, the rookie Bijan Robinson. And Shock, you saw a one-handed grab. His very first carry was a really impressive one. I don't know if fans right now, they want to see a detailed breakdown of that first play. What should they do?
And guess what? Stay around for a couple more minutes because I'm showing it, brother.
Film room, it's straight ahead. Bijan, 4 carries, 20 yards, 1 catch for 6. DJ, what did we learn about the Rook?
Everything he is and what we thought he was is exactly that. Explosive, had good vision, does a good job in the pass game, and he just showed the explosiveness that he has, and he was good. And this is going to be fun to watch all season long. Arthur Smith's going to be able to put him all over the field, and he is going to make a big impact on this season. And he's going to be one of those guys that, at the end of the year, you're going to say, guess what, I'm glad we drafted this guy. Here's Robinson talking about his first NFL preseason action.
It felt good, to see all the playmakers go, do what they do, and especially to see Desmond be comfortable back there, and even in the huddle, he was just calm, collected, and he said everything that he needed to say, and we just tried to execute as well as we did. So nothing really surprised me, but it was definitely a good first feeling to go out there and to show what I can do.
And as we wrap up the opening drive, well, the referee for sure was busy. He had 12 penalties on the Falcons, over 90 yards cumulative, a bunch early, a penalty on the opening kickoff return. A lot of positives, right, last night in the tie. But this is one that Arthur Smith can't like.
Yeah, he is not going to like this. And I think the number one thing he is not going to like were a lot of them were pre-snap penalties that they can overcome, things that you talk about discipline, and they didn't have a lot of them last week. But to have that this week was one of those instances where you say, all right, we weren't as disciplined as we were the week before. These are things we have to correct, because if not, they're going to hurt us, and they're going to be drive killers when the season starts.
And you saw just a moment ago in the video, Chris Lindstrom with his hands on his hips. He never commits penalties.
Won all year last year. So
unbelievable. He gets 2 in the preseason game last night. Well, welcome in to Early Birds alongside D.J. Shockley. I'm Justin Felder. And one other thing we got to talk about, and it's weird we're talking about it, the third-string quarterback.
They matter now.
Logan Woodside, good again. He leads them to that game-tying Younghoe Koo field goal. He's making a case for the roster.
And that's it right there. At the end of the ball game, 50 seconds to go in the game, they put the ball in his hand that he made some big plays. 2 weeks in a row, he takes care of the ball for one, but he also gives them a chance to win. Logan, I think, has earned himself a spot. And if he hasn't on this team, he's definitely going to do it on another.
Yeah, tough decision for Terry Fontenot, Arthur Smith, but Logan Woodside giving him something to think about. All right, Shock, go ahead and walk like an Egyptian over to the telestrator.
Egyptian?
The Bengals. The Bengals.
Oh, okay.
I like that one. I think I've used that one before. But we've been doing the show a while. I only got so many puns.
True,
We will see you in the film room
right.
in just a few. But first, one of the stars from the first preseason game was D. Alford with his punt return for a touchdown. Alford went from training camp sensation a year ago after arriving to Flowery Branch as an unknown to a mainstay in Atlanta secondary. He's also an Atlanta guy, went to Spalding High School, and Alford says being an NFL player also means responsibility. This past January, a tornado hit his hometown of Griffin, Georgia. D and I sat down this week and he talked about how he decided to jump in and help.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't even like to. It was sad, you know, just being able to drive through and just see like missing homes and subdivisions to a part. But just being able to give back, it was a blessing. I was able to connect with a few family members. We all got together, cooked on the grill, made food, packages of water, Gatorades from the facility here. What I grew up and wanted to do for the community, I'm able to do all of them type of things now. It's just a blessing to be in this position. I just want to continue, you know, to give back and show the youth, you know, you can do great things.
There are probably a whole lot of Falcons fans who you kind of burst on their radar this time last year. Some new faces in the room, and within the cornerbacks, within the secondary as a whole. What's the competition like, even as somebody who played a ton of football last year?
It's a lot of competition, man. We got a great group of guys, you know, in the defensive back room, man. And that's what you want. You know, you want a room that can compete. It's a brotherhood at the end of the day, but it's a lot of competition.
And you're competing for the punt return job too, putting a pretty good audition down in Miami.
D. Alford making something happen here.
What would you bring to that position if you're able to grab it?
Man, it's a lot, man. Just, you know, I'm a defensive guy, but just to be able to, you know, to help offense score, and that's something I always wanted to do. I did it in high school, I did it in college. Just being able to do that on a national football level, it's a lot, man. It's a blessing also.
So after that punt return, I saw on social media you took exception to your speed in Madden.
So if 87 is the wrong speed rating, what should you be at?
I feel like I should at least be a 90 plus. I never ran a 40, so I don't know what my 40 time is, but I know I'm pretty fast. You know, slot corner, I go against a lot of fast guys. You know, here at practice, I go against Scotty Miller every single day. And I think his speed is like a 95 on Madden, and I'm right there with him. So I feel like it at least should be like a 90 plus.
It's time to get some game intel from Shock. You're invited into the film room. So cut the lights and let's get started.
No disappointment. I told you we were going to talk Bijan Robinson in that run. His first carry of his whole entire career, and it was a nice one. Now, let's talk about what happened on this particular play. Now, this is an outside zone air play. So he wants to stretch it as far as he can, then stick his foot in the ground and get vertical. And let's watch as this play gets started. Now, watch the action up front by the offensive line. Nice job of stretching. Look at everybody has a hat on a hat, and he's on a good track here. Now, as the play continues, watch him stick his foot in the ground. Boom, right there, and now get vertical. The next part of this is the vision. You love to see the vision of it. And as you finish this play here, watch him continue, and then here, boom, make a guy miss in the hole. That's what you like, making a guy miss. You got to be able to do this in the NFL, and he does a good job of that. Let it go. Nice job of finishing here. These are the type of plays you're going to see Bijan Robinson do. He is a versatile, he is a tough physical back, but he can make you miss in space. He's going to be fun to watch here this all season long, and he's going to have runs like this all year that you like to see, and he's going to be good down the road. Justin, I can't wait to see more of this guy in this offense doing things like this. They're going to be special to watch, man.
And they say positionless football. Shock, you showed it right there. He can run between the tackles. We saw him with a one-handed grab. Bijan can do it all. Looking forward to see what more the rookie can do in the preseason. We've got more to come on Early Birds. Michael Jenkins gives his Heisman favorites, and you'll be shocked. He picks a guy from his rival school. Plus,
I mean, they just didn't block me, so can't miss a layup.
You're gonna see. You sure can. Troy Anderson, known for tracing down running backs, but he can also be special on special teams. He'll explain in Going Deep.
Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you. You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Best, nothing. And sponsored by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Truest, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. And the Home Depot, how doers get more done. More Early Birds coming back at you. Early birds, listen up. It's not Saturday without some college football talk. Brought to you by Zaxby's. Indescribably good chicken fingers and wings. Here's Justin Felder.
Well, welcome back into Early Birds alongside former Falcons and Ohio State wide receiver Michael Jenkins. And it's 2 weeks until the first full Saturday of college football. But we got some games next Saturday. So really, this is our last Saturday without big-time games for a while. That's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling right now. So everybody's excited about football, especially college football.
Absolutely. Most wonderful time of the year coming right up. And what's college football without some rankings? It's what we love. The preseason AP poll is out. No surprise. UGA is a near unanimous number one. Hey, your Buckeyes got a vote. So did that team that the Buckeyes play against, Michigan. How did the Dogs, Jank, handle the big expectations?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, no team has ever won 3 national championships in a row. And you're asking Kirby Smart and his staff, new starting quarterback with a lot of weapons out there that he's trying to get the ball to. Receivers, Brock Bowers, great defense as always, to play everybody every week, and they're going to bring their top efforts every single time. So it's a lot on the Dogs to get it done this year.
Absolutely. You're taking a look at some video from a recent scrimmage between the hedges. And in terms of rankings, it sounds like Dogs players, well, they've been listening to what Kirby Smart's been telling them.
The freshmen, they came in fast. They're learning the playbook. They are making plays. We're excited to see how this year going to play out for them. You know, it's always about growth. Everybody got to grow. There's still a lot more growing to do.
Yeah, focused on growth, focused on development, not focused on the outside noise. But, you know, you've been in those locker rooms, right? How important is it for the fellow players, for the veterans, for the seniors, the upperclassmen, to keep those freshmen you just heard about from letting that noise in?
It's very important, and you just kind of lead by example, going out on the field and doing what obviously the guys before you have done, right? To show that this is what it takes to win football games, especially here in the SEC and the South at Georgia, and you know they just lead the way.
All right, so we're talking about hype with Georgia. Let's switch over to some Heisman hype, and we got some of your picks for your possible Heisman winners, Cenk. And we can start off with your preseason predictions with an appropriate spot, the defending Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, I mean it's never happened back-to-back since Ohio State guy, Archie Griffin, back in the 70s to win 2 in a row. But this guy, Caleb Williams, I mean, he's super talented and has a real strong chance to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Archie Griffin, the only 2-time winner. Maybe Caleb Williams joins him. Here's what he's been saying.
But it's been fun. I'd rather be wanted than not wanted. And busy instead of not being busy.
All right, you're Heisman hopeful number 2. I had to check and make sure you were feeling okay when you texted me this.
Oh, man.
You picked a Michigan player? Are you all right?
I don't know what I was thinking. It might have been a long day. But, I mean, this kid, Blake Corum, has been special up there in Michigan. And even despite the injury that he's had, I mean, he is a special talent and has a chance to be one of those running backs to obviously, you know, be up there for the Heisman contention.
It takes a very big man to pick your rival as a Heisman possibility. And finally, Michael Penix from Washington. I saw this guy playing when we were in Seattle last year for the Falcons-Seahawks game. He's an exciting player and a real good quarterback playing out west.
Yeah, kind of somebody that you may not hear of on the East Coast, but this kid is special, and he has 2 1,000-yard receivers outside that he's throwing to, and they have a really special head coach that's done well with this team, and he has a chance to, you know, be one of the final 3 at least as a Heisman.
He'll be putting up some numbers for sure. All right, last thing this week, we'll save playoff picks for another time, national champion, but give me a team that you're watching this season that might be kind of a dark horse to make a run in the playoffs, kind of like TCU was last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of 2, and they're both from the state of Texas. Okay. Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire, his first year last year, they won 8 games, and a lot of their big games are all at home. They don't play Oklahoma, so they have a chance to be that Tulane, that TCU that could creep into that top 4 this year.
Interesting. It would be fun to watch. You know they're going to put up points and play an exciting brand of football there with Texas Tech. All right, Cenk, we appreciate you as always. Looking forward to the start of the college football season. And Shock, can you believe gave some love to a Michigan guy?
It's just unbelievable. I don't know who that guy is now. Talking Michigan, that's unbelievable. And too much Ohio State talk, but we'll talk about that later. All right, now it's time for Going Deep. And this year we're asking the Falcons players to take us behind the scenes on some of the biggest plays. And we all know the third phase matters in the game of football. It could easily win or lose a game. For linebacker Troy Anderson, one play definitely sticks out more for him in his rookie season 2022, and he explains in this week's Going Deep.
I'd say blocking the punt against the Rams. I think that was
fairly self-explanatory, like fun play just to have a hand in scoring, I guess, creating opportunities for our team to win.
Quick scores.
And Riley Dixon's punt is blocked! The punt is blocked, and a scoop and score! Lorenzo Carter off the block of Troy Anderson! How's that for a quick score?
I mean, they just didn't block me, so can't miss a layup.
You're going to see him come through and get right on Riley Dixon's foot right there. Anderson with a huge play, and then the scoop and score. Woo. That's what Atlanta needed, just something.
Yeah, I mean, the long snapper just went the wrong way and then take it off the foot.
Can't miss a layup, says Troy Anderson. Well, we've got more to come on Early Birds. Players might think, oh, they kind of look funny, but Team Doctor says they work. We're talking bubble caps after the break.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz, on your official home for Falcons football, Fox 5 Atlanta.
Well, fans at Falcons training camp might have been wondering what exactly they were. Players at first certainly had questions of their own, but apparently they help. We're talking about bubble caps being worn over helmets during and throughout training camp. We asked the Falcons team doctor, what's the deal? That's the focus of this week's Emory Road to Recovery.
So the bubble cap's technical name is a guardian cap, and basically it's easier to call it the bubble cap because that's what it looks like. And we used those for last year for the first time. We're using those now this year, and more positional players are using them, and any player can use them if they want to, but certain positions are required to wear them. And basically a guardian cap acts as a buffer on the helmet to decrease the forces that the helmet sees, and thus what the player's head is seeing. And we saw last year that it did indeed decrease head contacts, head impacts, and the forces that we saw with those players' head injuries. So I think there's a lot of promise to it, and so the players, are starting to get used to it and not mind it as much as they used to.
We've got more to come. We'll show you how Grady Jarrett gave back this offseason. That's after the break on the Early Birds.
Early Birds has been presented to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you.
Taking a look at the Falcons giving back, and Grady Jarrett is always giving back. He did a bunch during the offseason, including one weekend where he had several events, including a Topgolf tournament to raise money for the Grady Gives Foundation in Shock. I know you were there at this event.
Yeah, man, it was fun to see Grady. You see his mom there, who's always involved in a lot of his activities, and then some of his teammates were there. I mean, he had probably 10, 15 guys there, and usually that doesn't happen when you have an opportunity to do that. So kudos to his teammates for coming out and also being a part of the day.
Yeah, the event supports a variety of causes, most of them having to do with kids. You can tell he has a real soft spot there.
Yeah.
Working with kids, he also had a youth football camp and a youth combine. Very cool stuff. Make sure to join us, by the way, tomorrow night on the Dirty Bird Report. We'll have highlights from the Falcons and the Bengals, interviews, and so much more. Getting you ready for the season, the preseason finale, I should say. Tune in tomorrow night, 11:30 p.m. Hope you can join us. And Shock, before you go, as we head into the last preseason game week, if you will, in training camp, cuts kind of looming.
Oh, scary.
How do things change around Flowery Branch? Do they change?
I don't think they change as much. Guys understand you have maybe one more opportunity to show these coaches what you can do, so you have an opportunity to go out and do that in the game, but it's tough. Guys start to kind of tighten up a little bit because for a lot of guys, this may be their last chance in the National Football League, so you got to put your best foot forward.
And I'm sure coaches, knowing that pressure's on, will be watching even more closely to see how those guys on the fringe handle it.
The details. That's exactly what they're going to notice. Who can do the small things to help us win the games?
Stick with us. We'll have you covered from Flowery Branch, from the games, and so much more. For D.J. Shockley, I'm Justin Felder. Thanks for joining us on Early Birds. We'll see you back here next Saturday morning.